Hello, everybody on Facebook, YouTube, and our audio podcast. My name is Josh Oakes, and I'm here in Los Angeles with a friend of mine. I have her as a guest today, and we're talking about screen time habits for younger kids. And really the young kids, whether they are 0 to 18 years old, I mean, they can really fit into this bucket. So today I have Jill Simonian here today, who is an on-camera air personality. She's incredible, but more importantly than everything she does for her career, she's a mom. And she's a mom that really has a really neat outlook on screen time. So I have her here today. We're going to dialogue about some of her tips that she uses with her kids. Jill, welcome to the video. I'm so honored to have you here.
Hi, always excited to talk to you.
Yeah, you are awesome with what you do professionally, but I love what some of your take on how your kids should and should not have devices. Let's dive right on into that. You have two kids, 7 and 5 years old, and you are very careful about how much screen time you give them. We featured you in past videos and you're all over our blog. Let's talk about how you encourage your kids to implement self-regulating habits with screen time. What are some of the things you do with your kids?
Okay, so I love the way you use the word careful because my own husband thinks that I'm borderline crazy in the way that I really limit certain things. I'm very strategic, so to speak, about when they watch TV, how much they watch it. I'm always conscious. I let them use the iPad, but in a very limited sense right now, because like you said, I'm trying to, I guess, train them. I guess that's the right word. I'm trying to train them in a way where they start with good habits. So that way everything you can't put toothpaste back in the tube. Once things go awry, it's hard to get things back and say, oh, wait, we're not going to do as much. So I am trying to do as little as possible and then grow it in that sense. I'll start with the TV. We love TV at our house. Obviously, I work on television. I love watching television. We have binge watched everything over here, my husband and I. But when it comes to my kids, they're both in school right now. One's in kindergarten, one's at first grade. And I'm a big believer in when they get home, letting them veg out, whether they want to play, whether they want to draw. Lately, for whatever reason, it's the first few weeks of school, so they're sort of tired when they come home. They say, we want to watch TV. And I say, you know what? Yeah, that's totally cool. But you're going to watch 1 or 2 episodes. And that's what you're watching. And that's the end of it. So I let them veg, have a snack, watch 1 or 2 episodes. And I actually stay true to my word, where after that second episode is over, I say, we're done. Boom. And the TV goes off. And we have the arguments. And they cry and they whine and they complain, but then they get over it and they just move on to the next thing. So I'm trying to create that inner time clock in their head where, even at a young age, from time to time, my little one will be watching TV and she'll say, you know what? I'm done. It's time for the TV to go off. And she'll get the remote and she'll turn it off. And I'm like, yes, this is working. The time clock is working in their head. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm starting with.
I love that. That's really great. And you're finding that they're self-regulating themselves, which is the whole goal of what we're talking about here on this podcast and in these videos. How do you get the kids so that, as a psychologist said last week on one of our videos, he said, if you as a parent are the person that takes away your kid's phone and they're about to go away to college and your kid relies on you to take their phone away and put it downstairs in the charging block or whatever at night, then your kid is not ready to be an adult yet. But you're teaching your kids at a really young age to do that.
I'm trying.
That's really great. That's a lot of work. Okay, so we talked about
Oh, sorry. I was going to say the funny thing too about that is that, last night I worked and I came home and I had some extra things that I had to do on my phone, social media after work, after the fact. And I'm on my phone and at 7 o'clock at night when we're getting ready to do the bedtime routine with them. And my big one is yelling at me, put your phone down. What's more important, your phone or putting us to bed? I go, putting you to bed is more important, but I really need to do this right now. And I was in the wrong and I knew I was wrong, but she kept insisting. She goes, Mommy, your brain's going to turn crumbly if you keep looking at your phone, because that's what I tell them. So I'm glad that they try to regulate me too.
That's really great. And how refreshing is it that they're giving you their advice? And that's a good point. They're always learning and listening, and every word you use goes into their memory banks. It's so crazy. All right. So let's talk about, so we try the self-regulatory stuff. I love that. What do you tell your kids to do if they see something bad? It's not if, it's when.
Yeah, it is when, because it is going to happen. One thing that has sort of changed this year, because my kids are in elementary school now, is that from time to time they'll go to friends' houses, they'll have play dates, and yeah, I know the parents of these kids, and I know the kids, and they're good kids and they're nice kids, but stuff happens. And, in the old days, I think parents used to worry about, oh, what if kids are, we still worry about it. What if kids are doing dangerous things? What if they're, talking in a way that's not appropriate? What if they're, the concerns are all the same, but now added to all of those old fashioned concerns is the concern of, what if they're playing on the iPad? They type something, the friend types something in, you don't know what type of filters are happening at that house with the electronic devices. What if something comes up? What if they see something? So I tell my girls, I go, listen, there's a lot of stuff. I'm very upfront with them, and they, in an age appropriate way. I don't talk about details of things, but, to my 7-year-old, I'll say, hey, there's a lot of stuff that you can see on an iPad that is naughty, that's bad, that's inappropriate, that doesn't go with how, things that we do and believe in our family. And do you recognize things, like, have you ever seen something that gives you that uh-oh feeling, like, uh-oh, this seems wrong? She goes, no, I haven't, which was, relief. And then I said, okay, so what would you do if you were at so-and-so's house and something came up and you got that uh-oh feeling, like, uh-oh, I don't know if this is right? And she goes, she goes, well, yeah, I don't know. I said, okay, here's what you do. I go, you have to listen to that little voice in your head that says, this is uh-oh, this is not right, this is inappropriate. And as hard as it is, you got to say, you know what, I don't think we should watch this or do this. Or I go, and then you got to come tell me. And you won't be in trouble if you tell me. I promise you will not be in trouble, even if you clicked on something that took you to that video or whatever. You're not going to be in trouble as long as you always tell me, because that's what we do in this family. So that's what I'm trying. I mean, so far, luckily, nothing's happened. And, it's like, we never know. We tell our kids all this stuff. You don't know if they're really going to do it when the time comes, or if they're going to say, let's click on some more. It's like the little kids looking at the dirty magazines, like back at, it's like the same thing. You don't know, but I think the more open and consistent we keep talking, I think it just keeps the whole mystery of it open, so that it's not a bad thing. It's, it's an open space where kids feel like, okay, you know what, I saw this, and they feel a little bit more less threatened if.
Yeah, talking about it ahead of time.
Yeah.
We give these devices to people. It's so young these days, and unfortunately they've never seen good behavior about how to use it. But yeah, we drive cars and we teach them how to drive cars and what good driving and distracted driving looks like. The kids know by the time they hit 16, they've ridden in 100 different, behind the wheel of 100 different people, maybe, right? Or maybe let's say 50, but their parents, both parents, the aunts and uncles, grandma, grandpa, all these different people, and they see who good drivers are and bad. And what you're doing essentially is telling them, before you get in a vehicle, here's the uh-oh moment, what bad driving looks like. You can get out of that car, which I love, because not enough of us know to tell kids, this is what's about to happen. Here's the bigger picture, and so on. Okay, so you hit on dialogue. Favorite topic. Good for you. You are the best digital safety app that your two children have. Yes. Is you, right? And that's what all the parents have. The best digital safety app. Do not outsource your parenting to an app. It's really only you that'll get up in the middle of the night and go pick them up at the stranger's house, or the other kid's house. Okay, next. What would you tell parents? They've got a kid that's 11, 10, and go, Mommy, I want a phone because Sally has one, and I want an iPhone. I want to be able to get Snapchat. I know legally I'm supposed to be 13, but I want it now. What would you tell parents?
Okay, stop getting sucked into I'm just going to say it. Don't get sucked into the stupidity. And this is such a tough topic, because my kid is not 11 yet, and I know it's going to come when she's in the 4th grade, 5th grade, and I know she's going to say, they all have the phones, and I'm the only one. And this is the part of, I think, the parenting program where we have to be so tough and, mean, but we're not mean, but we have to be very strict in what we decide and saying no. And at the very least, blame it on the law. That's what I say. Blame it on the law. The law says you can't use this stuff until you are 13. You can't use Instagram until you're 13. In fact, is Facebook 13 too?
Yes.
Most of these apps are 13. Does Snapchat have an age? You're the expert. I can't remember off the
I
top.
think it's 13 as well. I think across 13. The board, we should assume they're all 13.
Yeah, they're 13. The law says 13. And I'm the type of parent that would even go so far as to say, listen, the law says you got to be 13. Essentially, I think it's around 7th or 8th grade. So if I get this for you, the police are going to find me and I'm going to jail. Like I'm that parent that will go there and say that for the sake of making my argument to, an 11-year-old. But it's so true because, Josh, I mean, one of the biggest things that I learned, I think, was at one of your conferences recently, where you had an expert there, and I think she was from Google, but she was talking about how these are wonderful things and they're fantastic information. We all know that, but they're also the most dangerous weapon. And we have to teach our kids that these are precious, and using them takes a huge responsibility. And just like you would never petition the state to let your child get a driver's license at the age of 12 because you think they're mature and the kid down the street gets to drive around the corner at the age 12. You would never petition the state for your child to get a driver's license at the age of 12. So why would you try and get the smartphone that takes so much responsibility and maturity to operate and use properly? Why would you get that before the recommended age of 13? That's how I feel.
Very wise. It's so true too. I think it's really good. Directing things back to driving and the kitchen for me, cooking always seemed to make sense, right?
Yes.
If we told, and one of the things that I love to look at, because I get to talk with a lot of students nationwide and see when they roll their eyes and when they don't. Right. I always tell parents, this is like a knife in the kitchen. If you don't teach your kids, if you tell your kids, don't touch that, don't touch the hot stove, what are they going to want to do? Touch that stove. Right. But if you said, hey, we're going to go cook spaghetti. Are you hungry? Yes, I'm hungry. I know the end goal, right? They have a desire for it. Great. I'm going to show you how to use the sharp knife, the hot stove, and all these other utensils. And we're going to make something incredible. And you need your help along the way, but the purpose of this instead of a pastime. And as soon as they know that, then they're better equipped to go, okay, great. Yeah. And the same is true for when would you want to give that kid that sharp knife to let them try and learn how to chop something or drive as well. And I think those work really well for us to think about and rationalize what we're doing. Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about a website that you and I discussed. You've got a website called waituntil8th.org. I'm going to try and do this here, waituntil8th.org. What is that all about, and what do you suggest for people?
Okay, so I found this through where'd you go? Oh, you went to the website. Oh, that's awesome. Something just happened on my screen. Are we still on, Josh?
Yeah, we're still on. And let's see. Does that work? Let me see. Yeah, you go ahead and keep talking. And I think, yeah, let's go ahead and see that. Sorry about that.
This is blindsided me with the tech savvy stuff happening on my screen. Wait Until 8th. I found this website through my own work. I do parenting segments on air for CBS Los Angeles News right now. And I was looking for some different resources about screen time. And I found this website called waituntil8th.org. And it's a pledge, essentially, for parents and kids to wait until the 8th grade to get the smartphone. And, in just clicking through it briefly, I just thought it was really valuable. And it was a wake-up call for all of us because it talks about how Bill Gates himself doesn't think that smartphones are appropriate for kids under the age of 14. And, there's a lot of other tech experts and executives that have founded these huge tech companies that have said, listen, this is not appropriate for kids. As someone who was on the other side of this industry and had a hand in creating what the tech industry is now and how we use it, I think Melissa Gates, I read an article by Melissa Gates too, also saying that navigating social media and smartphones with teenagers is something that is so difficult for her. And these tech executives are so careful when it comes to.
Yeah, somebody posted that in our parent university. She said something pretty cool. 2 posts need approval. Let's go see somebody. There's a post that I haven't shared yet. Melinda Gates. I wasn't prepared for smartphones or social media. Her thoughts and suggestions. And it's on medium.com. Those of you that are looking at this right now, everybody can see our screen live. But essentially, even when you spent your life in technology, it's profound. Always on presence can make you worried. So that's a really good article. Couldn't agree more. But to take the pledge, wait until 8th. If your kids already have a device, really talk to them about kind of what the stuff that Jill is showing you. But if you want to take this pledge, it's really interesting. Parent's name, child's name, email address of parent. They should put that because you don't want the kids' information. That we are in the business of making sure people don't put the wrong info in. School, city of child's school, state, and then future middle school too as well. So it's kind of cool. So anyways, that's really neat. Thank you for sharing that with me because this is neat. Wait until 8th. And it really gets your kids. So this is one of the bigger deals I think that you've taught all of us. It's time for us to not be the bad person, but rather make other resources, whether it's the law or waituntil8th.org, to be the organization or the resource that explains the who, what, where, when, why. And that's where I leave you because you have to go pick up your kids here in just a few minutes. Yes. But we have a program here, and Jill, you're aware of this and you've been in it. It's called Parent University. Schools all over the country have a Parent University night where they bring an officer in and they do all this stuff to make parents the best. We're realizing that's not enough. That's like going to one driver's ed class and going, I am an expert defensive driver and I will never get in an accident. It is an ongoing thing. It takes a village to raise a child, a whole group of people. So we developed Parent University so that you as the parent are no longer the bad person, but rather we have a series of videos that are all about how one post can get you kicked out of Harvard and exactly what that post should be if you want to get kicked out. And kids go, whoa, I get to watch this? And parents are like, yeah, we're going to watch these videos together. And our team teaches you how to get kicked out of Harvard, what the ways to be positive and polite are online, how to be full of positivity and gratitude. And we have a series of videos that when your parents are ready, they can do that. It's called Parent University. You guys know about it. You can click the links around the video to learn more about it. It's at smartsocial.com. And we're really pushing for parents to have that dialogue with their kids before they give them the phone and on a weekly basis, just like Jill says. All right, Jill, I'm going to leave you with final thoughts, but I want to ask you this one question before final thoughts. I want to ask you, what is one of the biggest misconceptions that you hear parents say, like at a cocktail party, that I heard that this is the case, when really the reality might be very different? What is one of those misconceptions?
I heard, oh my gosh. Oh, well, I mean, just the simple thing. I heard that you can delete posts that you don't want people to see and, it's all good. They're gone. They're not gone. Even if you delete something, if someone shared it before, if someone like if your kid sent something to another kid and that kid screenshot it and saved it on their phone for whatever reason, that stuff is not gone. I can go through and delete everything that I have ever posted. And most of it, majority, I'm assuming, will not be deleted because the way that social media works is that, people share and people screenshot and then people link to things that you don't even, every single time. I will have people link to my website that I don't even know who they are because they found it through, something they've been clicking on. There is no such thing as deleting something and it being gone and you being in the clear. And especially I'm talking about now speaking to the whole, high school, college application process for kids that are like, I better clean up my social media feeds. It's not gone. Don't count on it being gone if you delete it.
That's a good point. And, I've never really thought about this, but you're a broadcaster. You're on air a lot, all kinds of different red carpet things and on camera and stuff. And so here's what's really weird. And here's the collision we have this year and last year. The industry used to be just people like you get the chance to reach millions of people on a weekly basis on whatever channel you want to be on. Yay, I get to do this. But now every child is a broadcaster. But Jill, if I were to say to you, hey, Jill, you can be on CBS, right?
Yeah.
You can be on CBS as with your segment. And then when you're done, after it's on air, it's gone forever. No one can see it. Wrong. People are DVRing it. People can screenshot and go, hey, look, she sneezed on camera. They can make fun of you on social. And you know that millions of people to see it, it's never gone. As soon as you say it on air, it's broadcast, it's out there. Yep. People will record it on their little micro DVR or their big DVR and rewatch it and laugh at you, with you, or whatever. But kids are broadcasters now. Kids are broadcasting, and we always say, parents are always yelling at kids going, once it's out there, it's forever. But really what they're saying is you have your own channel. You are your own little CBS affiliate. Yes. Millions of people can see you. And the juicier the tweet, the bigger the billboard, right? And essentially, everybody has their little DVR. They screenshot it, and it is saved in their DVR. They're just like Jill. Every child now is like you.
Yes, yes, kids, be careful.
Right? And parents mean the best when they say it's out there forever, but that's maybe an interesting way to explain that. I've never really thought of it that way until now, is every child has 100 viewers every day on Snapchat. Some of them don't love them as much as their parents. And they would go, I can get away with screenshotting this. Yeah. Sending it out, making fun, resquiggling it, and sending it in the dark media section. So anyways, parents, another way to maybe explain to your kids, Jill's a great example. She knows that when something's on air, it is too late to get it back. I love your example of you can't put toothpaste back in the tube.
You can't put toothpaste back in the tube.
But I think that's something interesting to note. Every child is a broadcaster these days. Can I take it down? Maybe if it's something really boring, like I don't like that dress, that's fine. But the juicier of tweets, the more upset the moment, the more upset the Snapchat is, the bigger of billboards, right? It's only the good stuff people are going to take and run with, unfortunately.
Right.
Jill, I want to thank you for spending time with us here today. You are absolutely amazing.
Thank you. You too. Great conversation. So important.
Thank you. Those of you that are watching, you can click the links below to learn more about Jill. We'll see you on a new episode. Have a great day. And as always, remember to keep it light, bright, and play. Hey, Jill, tell us more about your book here real quick.
My book is for first-time pregnant moms. I don't have a book with me because we were talking social media, but it's called The Fab Mom's Guide, How to Get Over the Bump and Bounce Back Fast After Baby. And you can find out more about it on my website, thefabmom.com.
We're going to link to your website below. Great. Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you all soon. Take care.